All right. What's the greatest lesson you have learned from Minister Farrakhan? I know that's a hard one.
Man, that's very hard.
If you could
Because
break it down to two also.
I could say that what makes it so challenging is that, Allah God has, according to the Holy Quran, 99 chief attributes. And we've been taught by the minister that every attribute of God is also a human characteristic. So that's what the concept you read in the Bible where it says man is in the image and likeness of God. Image is a physical reflection. Likeness is a spiritual reflection. Likeness, so teaches the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, means that you're created in the same mind, same nature, and character of the God. So we all have the 99 attributes of God, all of their human characteristics. Some of them we manifest naturally, but some of them we have to learn and acquire and practice and get better at. The beauty of the minister, in my humble opinion, is he's the living proof that not one or two, but all 99 can be manifest in perfect balance. So it's hard to say a lesson that you get other than to say the greatest thing is the fact that his beingness, the way he is, proves that we can become who Allah promised us that we can become. The minister's all God all the time. And he manifests those characteristics and those attributes of God in perfect balance. He's compassionate, he's merciful, but he's still warrior, he's soldier. So everything that you're looking for, God has blessed him to become that. So he's that developed model of a human being. I always joke about it and say that, life is a test and everybody bears witness that it is. And I remember when we were in school and you had to take a test. When you were taking a test, all of the problems on the test were all different. But every now and then they would put an example at the top of the page. It wasn't the exact question, but it was the formula you needed to work to solve all the questions. The minister, being a servant of God, being one raised by God for us, he said at the top of the page of life as an example, giving us the formula on how to solve all the different problems that we'll come up with. So in that sense, I would say he's the example for everything. He's the man that taught me everything that I know and is the example of the man that I hope to one day become. And he's that for all of us.
All right. Did Farrakhan ever share how he accumulated so much information?
Well, the minister was a great student of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And his life, when you listen to the way he operated, his prayer, study habits, pretty much if he wasn't swinging the sword, he was sharpening the sword. Swinging the sword meaning teaching. And if he wasn't teaching, he was studying to teach. He talks about as he grew up as a young minister, he didn't spend a lot of time catching balls with his children and doing the traditional parenting thing. He was always in the lab, always studying, always teaching, and making sure that when he did teach, he had something to teach. So that kind of habits, which of course he credits his mother for getting him involved in the study of the mastery of the most difficult instrument in the world to play, the violin. And by taking him young and committing him to that kind of discipline to become proficient in the hardest instrument, set his mind up that he could become proficient in the hardest job ever given to man, which is the resurrection of black people. So he, of his own statement, he brought that same formula for mastering the violin. He brought it to mastering the teachings and put in that same kind of effort and energy he used to put into becoming proficient at playing the violin to saving his people. So that is the regimen. And he told us now for anyone that's viewing this, you don't have to study 8 to 10 hours a day to become what you are to become. one of our lessons say this, that the above can be accomplished with very little study. So it's not a whole lot of study, but it's a lot of acting, a lot of working, a lot of living the life that's necessary. So the minister said this. He said, knowledge allows you to equalize the pressure that life imposes on man. So the more knowledge you have, the better you're able to solve problems. The better you're able to solve problems, the less stress you have. He said that all you need to do in order for you to have in your head the adequate amount of interior knowledge to push off and ward off the pressure of this world is 1 hour a day of study. Do you know, Brother Lynn, that there's 14.7 pounds of atmospheric pressure per square inch of the human body right now on us? Think about all that, but look how easy it is to move. And the reason why that pressure doesn't cause us to implode is because we have more oxygen going out than we have the pressure of air coming on us. Well, spiritually, for every physical law there is in the universe, there is in nature a spiritual counterpart. So when the pressures of the world are coming, the oxygen is knowledge. The more knowledge you have, the better you're able to equalize the pressure of the world, and you can walk and just exhale and not feel the pressure of the world when your head is full of knowledge. That was the minister's way to become who he is, to teach what he teaches. But our formula, he said, you just need an hour a day and you'll have what you need in your mind as the adequate spiritual raw material to deal with the pressures of life without imploding.
And the last one, has Farrakhan ever given you advice about public speaking?
Yes. And the minister, of course, the greatest advice is just him teaching. You watch him teach and you strive to duplicate the way that he does it. There's never been, in my humble opinion, one that can communicate an idea greater than the minister. This is the greatest teacher that I've ever seen or ever heard in my life, period, hands down, any generation of time. So studying his way is number one. But every now and then, whenever I teach, if I'm representing him or I'm just representing at the mosque, he gets it and he'll listen and he'll give points of correction, ways to do different things. So yes, he does help train me up and tune me up, and he does that for many.
That's super dope. What do you believe you improved the most on in regards to your oratory skills from starting out till now?
I would probably say that you every time you teach, you learn different messages and ways to deliver the message that create the best effect. And I'm not talking about applause. I'm talking about what was taught and how was it taught that produced a person to take it in, absorb it, and act on it, and come back months later and give a report that I've been operating on that idea and it's produced these positive results. So those points that we learn from feedback caused me to say, well, what did I do that made that stick? Okay, so I had 3 Bible verses, 2 Quran verses, 2 examples from nature, and 1 thing from personal experience. So what I need to do, I need to make sure that if I really want a point to go, I got to make sure I stack it with all of the scriptural and the scientific and the experience examples to make it stick and stay. So learning that, and of course, still on the job training. We're learning, and I don't take it lightly. Just coming to interview today, I can't tell you how many times I've prayed, asking Allah to bless me with the perfection of His word. Bless me to represent Him and His message in a way that He and His Christ and His Messiah may be properly known in the hearts of men. And I always say at the end of it, I ask this not for my own personal sake of aggrandizement, but so that you and your minister and your messenger will be properly known in the hearts of men, not for me. So the greatest thing is that I've learned is to teach in a way that you're not trying to get people to be your student, but you're trying to get them to pull their desk next to yours and accept the same teacher you accepted.